Hey guys, what's up everybody? I got in here the new I Cloud Wheels Rovers 110mm. Now before I open the box, I always like to read this, but I think this information is wrong, but it say PU and NR, so polyurethane and pneumatic rubber. So I'm not quite sure if the inside of the wheel is polyurethane, but I guess. So we have 110mm, convex profile, no punctures, and damping core. And that's the key here, because you may be wondering, how do these wheels compare to something like the Hydro wheels? Because they do look very similar, don't they? But yeah, basically I have the same question. I asked Cloud Wheel, what's the difference? Why the Hydro wheels and then this? And what they told me is that these have the dampening core, so they're much more comfortable wheels than the original Hydro wheels, which kind of put the Hydro wheels on an odd position. Basically, these are better. So unless you like hard wheels, I don't know why would you, but basically these are Cloud wheels, 110mm Cloud wheels, that you don't need to freak out every time you see water. Like that happened to me. Like I'm riding my electric skateboard with Cloud wheels and I see water and I go like, "Wah!" Like if I see Godzilla or something like that. With these ones, well, it's a lot more grippy and it gives you a certain level of confidence. So if you haven't watched my review on the Hydro wheels, you'll see that you can go over water relatively well, but you still need to be careful. So it's not like this is the same amount of grip that you will get while you're riding on dry roads, but it is. It gives you the ability to ride over wet roads without falling, but you still need to be careful. So I guess this is going to be about the same, but a lot more comfortable. So the 110mm Hydro wheels that I reviewed before, they're okay comfortable. They're not uncomfortable, but they're not as good as, for example, the Cloud Wheels 105. So I guess this is going to be that perfect wheel. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be at least. Not sure how I feel about the green color, but yeah. So we have here all four wheels. There is a smaller box with bearings. Ooh, yeah, bearings. And then we have another box with the pulleys. So I got the pulleys for the new Backfire Silhouette X that I already did a couple of videos on that. That review is still on the way. And they also sent the belts and the bearings for the pulley. So here we go. So I'm gonna mount this on the Backfire Silhouette X and I'm gonna go out and have some fun. It's just been raining the whole week, so the roads are all wet. Let's do this.
I said run when you hear that. You better run when you hear that. I said
Run when you hear that. You better run when you hear that. I said
run when you run when you hear that. I said you better run. I said run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. You better run. I said run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that.
Alright guys, so I mounted the wheels on the Backfire Silhouette X and it's such a good combination. So here is the thing. I really believe that I Wonder, or the company Cloud Wheels, they have completely cannibalized their older products. So I don't see myself buying the Hydro 100mm wheels, neither the Cloud Wheels 105mm Discovery, when you have these wheels now. So I feel like these wheels is like these two other wheels combined into one. They're not perfect. I will tell you in a moment why I think they're not perfect, but they're probably one of the most comfortable everyday wheels you can have in your electric skateboard. So let me put this down. Here we go. Let's talk about what I really think about these wheels. So when compared to the original Cloud Wheel Hydro wheels, that they're a little bit smaller, and I guess that's probably the only thing that is better about the original Hydro wheels, that they're smaller. They're 100 millimeters versus 110 millimeters. I feel like they're a little bit too big, 110, and that's the only thing that I don't quite like about these wheels. I don't like to have very big wheels. I like to have rather smaller wheels that improve range, and they give me a lower center of gravity, so it's nicer for carving, and generally speaking, this just feels better while riding. 110, they're not too big either, but they're a little bit at the big end, especially for longboards, especially for a longboard like the Backfire Silhouette X. But if you're okay with that, and the roads in the area where you live, they're really bad, well, then 110 millimeters is going to be very convenient for you. For me, well, the roads are bad, but not as bad that I need 110 millimeters. When it comes to comfort and riding, like every day, and if you're a big fan of Cloudwheel Discovery 105mm wheels, you're gonna just love these wheels, because it's basically the same thing. You have the same technology, the same dampening core technology that makes it that, you know, when you go over bad roads, you just don't feel so tired. Your legs feels better, your feet feel better, your knees. It's just like all that vibration get reduced by the wheels. So it's basically the same like the older, very popular 105mm wheels, but now they're grippy. So the Cloud wheels, they were pretty okay till you see just a little bit of water in the road. So I will see a little bit of water on the road and I will go like, ah, no. Like I was ready to die basically. So now that just doesn't happen. I'm not afraid anymore because I know it can handle water very well. I can go over wet roads without any problem at all. So while saying that, if you haven't checked my video on the Hydro 100mm wheels that I've done not too long ago, you need to know something very important, that even so they're very grippy and they can grip on wet roads, you still need to ride very carefully because it's still slippery, just not as if you were with PU wheels or the original Cloud Wheels Discovery wheels. So yeah, very careful. In the area where I live, they have these roads that are made of stones that's super slippery. You can sleep while walking. So imagine on an electric skateboard, it's very dangerous. I can still ride with these wheels, which is basically almost as good as pneumatic tires on an 80 bore, but on a longboard. And yeah, this feels amazing. It feels something like I never thought this would happen, but yeah, it is now. So they're very comfortable. They're basically almost like all-terrain wheels, very grippy. You can ride on the rain, like I actually did. You're gonna get all wet. There is no way around that. But if the weather is good, like in summer, you get wet, it's fine. Nothing really happened. Later you dry your shoes somewhere in the balcony and it's fine. The one thing that I say that I don't like is just the size. 110mm could be a little bit big, and here is the issue with that. So the Backfire Silhouette X is like an absolute beast when it comes to power. So it can handle big wheels. But how many boards out there can handle these kind of wheels? I'm not so sure. I guess all the 80 boards, so the 2-in-1 80 boards, the Backfire Silhouette X, maybe the Meepo Voyager X, and maybe the X-Way Flex Pro. But the X-Way Flex Pro will really suffer from range since that battery is not that big. So there's only 2 longboards that can actually really get these wheels, I mean, for a longboard, because if you're gonna be on an 80 board, why not just put pneumatic tires, right? Or the bigger, the Cloudwheel Rovers 165 instead of the 110. I mean, you have options now, but I think that these wheels are meant to be for longboards. And I guess that Cloudwheel is getting ahead of the time, and I think in 2023 and 2024 there are going to be a lot of new longboards that pack the same kind of specs as the Backfire Silhouette X and the Voyager X. I just realized they both have an X on their name. Alright, and yeah, I think this is what is going to happen, where longboards are going to have much more range, much more power, and they can handle these kind of bigger wheels. But if you have an older longboard, let's say X-Way Flex ER, I will not get these wheels. You're gonna lose way too much power and way too much range, and the brakes are gonna be too soft. So you're gonna need a board that can handle bigger wheels. That being said, I love these wheels, and I think they're kind of like maybe the most perfect kind of everyday wheel you can have in your board, because if you care about comfort, you care about grip, well, check and check. They're pretty good for that. All right, guys. I'm wrapping it up with this. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing and give this video a thumbs up if you find the somehow informational. And I'll catch you up in the next video. Adios, amigos.